All right, what's your name and where are you from?
My name's Hayes Hepburn, and I'm from Haycock, PA.
Tell me a little about your project.
Well, I made a coffee table here. It's completely made out of oak, a combination of white oak and red oak. It's all tongue and groove, dado and rabbit. I didn't use any structural screws for it.
Where did the wood come from?
It was all donated to the school about 3 months ago, 4
Nice.
months ago.
Tell me about here. What do you got going on here?
That was just a natural crack in the wood, and I really liked how it looked, so I cleaned it up and stained it, put it right in there for a panel.
Nice. What kind of finish you got on here?
I got a natural stain finish with 2 coats of shellac and then 2 coats of satin poly.
Had some spots here on top here you had to fill in. What you got here?
A friend of mine gave me his leftover resin, and I filled in some of the knots and holes that were on my top slab.
Looks real nice. Hey, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, what's your name and where you from?
My name is Luke Van Auken. I'm from Haddon Heights, New Jersey.
And can you tell me about your project here?
I did an L desk for my room at my house, so it could be used for work or personal needs or whatever I'm about to do after the end of the year.
Yep.
I made 2 base cabinets on the bottom, and I made a support leg in the back for the back corner. I made all custom raised panel doors. I put a raised panel drawer face on and a raised panel cabinet door for anything I need to put in there, work
Nice.
related or anything else. And then they all have soft close hinges on. I did drawer box and a drawer face with a dado and a rabbit joint. So when you end up pulling it out, it will never wear down because of that joint in there.
Nice. What type of wood you use on this whole project?
I used oak plywood for my cabinet bases, and I used a cherry face frame with cherry doors and cherry drawer face on there. And on the back,
I like this feature back here. We gotta definitely show this.
I attached a raised panel. Fortunately, we didn't have anything wide enough, so I had to glue these 2 pieces together and try and match up the grains the best I could. And I just made 1 giant panel.
Looks solid.
And the reason I did this for the back of the cabinets is eventually if it's never in a corner, you'll be able to see the backs. And I did all the same all the way around to match this support leg in the back. These were also dado and rabbited together, and you can see it's pretty big, so it's strong enough to hold this back corner for a long time.
Nice. All right, let's talk about the top.
For the top, we had a oak slab that was donated to us a little bit ago. Basically what I did is I cut it in half and I ripped it in half and I mirrored them together to do like one of those famous epoxy river tables. So I used resin, and it's very,
That's gotta be pretty expensive.
yeah, it's pretty expensive.
You don't want to make any mistakes in that process.
And the way I did to save money is I routed out the bottom of the slab and I inlaid plywood. If you look underneath, I inlaid plywood to save myself some money and fill up some volume so I don't have to spend as much money on epoxy.
Less epoxy,
Yeah.
less product, and you still got the same structural stability.
Yep. And the finish I used for it, I did a linseed oil and just a wax finish for the top.
Looks beautiful. Thanks for sharing with us.
No problem.
What's your name and where you from?
I'm here Smart, West Philadelphia.
And can you tell me about your project?
We made here is a fish tank stand.
First, let's start with what type of wood you use on this.
Oak plywood is the framing of the cabinets,
Yep.
and then we did a oak hardwood on the outsides for the legs and the top.
Tell me about your joints. How do you connect all this down here?
Mortise and tenon.
Yeah, I see that side here. That looks nice.
Took a trim, did the inside.
Yep. This is you got a fish tank on here,
Yeah.
so this can hold some weight.
Yes, sir.
So then you get a nice. It's nice and clean. What type of finish you got on this thing? You got to protect this from water, obviously, and things like that. So tell me a little about
for the
that.
stain, I went with Puritan pine, and I put put a 2 coats of shellac, which is like a waterproofing for the wood, and then finish with polyurethane.
Nice. That looks beautiful. All right, what's your name and where you're from?
I'm Matteo Scalfaro. I'm from Warminster, Pennsylvania.
Cool. Can you tell me about what you built here?
I made a coffee table. So this is all made of oak. I used 2 pieces of plywood in here, but the rest of it is all hardwood. I spun these legs, each one individually, on the lathe, and they turned out pretty well. This top here, I had to router out for these inlays that you see here. There's 3 different type of woods here. This is spalted maple, this lighter one. This red one on the outside here is ironwood, and then the rest is 1 oak slab.
Beautiful. What type of finish you got on this?
On the top slab here, I have a natural finish with 2 coats of shellac and 2 coats of poly. Everywhere else is bark, 2 coats of shellac, and then 2 coats of poly.
Nice.
And then on the inside here, we have some storage. I will have a magnetic lock, like a childproof lock, there so that it can't just open up.
That is beautiful. Came out great. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, what's your name and where you're from?
Jay Santos, North Philly.
Could you tell me about your project?
It started off as a vanity, but then it more turned into like a work kind of table where I could game or I could have my computer sit on it. It has just dado and rabbits, and I have like 1 dovetail in it.
You got 2 levels there. What's the left side there? For a printer or
That's
something
for,
like that?
Yeah, printer, or you can have your computer box sit on there.
Nice. What type of wood you got here? What'd you make it out of?
White oak. Everything is it's all oak framing, and I have white oak hardwood on it. It's just different stains. I have a graphite stain on the tops, and then natural stain on the.
Let's talk about this side over here. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's more like a. I didn't know what to do for the right side, so I just more did like an accent wall kind of thing, out of 1x,
That came out nice.
and then hit it with the graphite. Everything has like 2 coats of poly on it. Sanded it down and hit it with a 3rd coat of poly.
Nice. And what do you got down here?
So I went to machine shop, had them engrave a bottom plaque for me, and then I made like a picture frame kind of thing to have all the guys on.
It came out great. It's beautiful, Jay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing. All right, what's your name and where are you from?
My name's Ian Edwards. I'm from Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. I got a bar here that I made. I'll eventually put it in my house. I don't know when, years down the line. But
Tell me a bit about some of the materials you used to build this.
so the lighter stuff you see is all spalted maple with a it's just a natural shellac stain on it. No coloring. All the darker stuff, including the both tops, are a mixture of white and red oak with a special walnut stain and 2 coats of shellac. And the tops here have 2 coats of shellac, 2 coats of satin poly, and a coat of wax, just because they need to be more durable.
Right.
And then around the outside, so I made this armrest. It's actually a glue up, and then I cut the cove on the table saw. I had to do a lot of sanding to get that nice and smooth.
That's great. Came out nice.
Around the outside, I have, 10 or so raised panels, which is cope and stick joinery, all made on a router table with all the same kind of wood. These panels were cut with a panel bit. Here, there's a huge knot that I filled in with epoxy to make it, give it a nice little accent right in the middle there.
That's nice lights coming through it too. Looks beautiful.
And then I just made a nice little toe kick with live edge just to give that a nice little extra touch. I have it up on wheels now just to make it easily transportable around shop, but eventually it'll sit flat on the ground.
This looks great, man.
All the drawers are soft closed drawers. Got some tools in there, but soft closed hinges on all the doors. All brass hardware that we got. And then in the middle here, I had the seniors sign the one door and all my instructors sign the other door.
Came out great. Hey, thanks for sharing with us.
Appreciate it.
All right, here's our next senior project. Excuse me, sir, how you doing?
Hey,
Can you tell me your name and where you're from?
my name is Andrew Williams. I'm from Kensington, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
All right, and tell me about your project. What'd you build here?
Building the bed frame here. The highlight of it's the live edge, as you can see. We still got all the natural edge of the wood. This is a redwood sequoia. It's old growth, so it was actually cut in PA. Used a cherry stain on it to deepen the red, and it's got about 4 coats of poly all around.
Let me back up here. This thing is real big. It's hard for me to get it in the camera. What size bed is this for?
This is a Wyoming King. It's interior dimensions 7 feet by 7 feet.
It's a big bed. Tell me some of these features. We got the wood here. What do you got? How'd you put these legs together?
So not only do you got the live edge on the rails and the rails itself, but you also have it highlighted here on each bed post. The front 2 posts have the edge coming out, and the back 2 posts have the edge coming out to the side. That way, it's all utilized well.
Nice.
Yeah. So this right here, I had some extra time on my hands in between gluing up and taking care of some other things, and I was waiting on my epoxy for my headboard, which we can talk about later. So I had some time to get some extra material from our instructor and do some glue ups, do some cope and stick work, and do some nice profile work on here.
So you made a nightstand. You
Yeah.
turn that a little bit into the light here. I want to see the front of that thing. That came out nice. Oh, yeah. So as we were saying, no headboard yet. Let's go. Let's move on over to the other side and take a look at the headboard.
So we have, I call it an epoxy river headboard. It's kind of the same setup as an epoxy river table, which is what most people are familiar with. We got 3 separate rivers. We have black pigment for the first layer. I have to do a separate pour of clear epoxy to get to the top of the surface. So once I get the second pour into the surface and then do a lot of finishing work, it'll all be done and we can strap it to the back of the bed frame and it'll be finished.
Looks great. Hey, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
What's your name and where you're from?
My name is Matthew Riley from Schuylkill County, PA.
And tell me a bit about your project here.
This is my gun cabinet. Made out a lot of maple plywood, maple face frame. Got walnut doors and walnut drawer faces. I got some like diseased maple I found on campus in one of the garages. Live edge I made myself. The grinder, sanded it all down, made it all nice. Same thing with the base, custom made shoe molding, custom made crown molding as well. Did a lot of sanding, really burned.
Hold on, let me get up here. I got a lot to cover on this one. That is beautiful up there. All right.
Then on the inside, these drawers here made out of maple plywood wrapped in maple edge banding. Covers up all the joints and everything.
Beautiful. And then let's see. Tell me some more about. I mean, you got live edge all around through here.
Yep.
On all your different angles.
Inside, made those custom made edge band or live edge as well. Routed these out for the stocks of the guns. Made this as well.
So tell me a bit. What'd you do for your stain finish on this? What do you got? How'd you finish it up?
Provincial stain for all the maple. Then shellac and satin poly for all the plywood and the face frames here. Then all this diseased maple I have just poly, and the walnut is just poly as well, 2 coats.
And then obviously you got 2 panes of glass going in there on the doors, right?
Yep. Gonna put that once I get home so it doesn't break on the way here.
That's beautiful. Hey, thanks for sharing, Matt.
Yep, of course.
All right, talking senior projects. What's your name and where you're from?
Hi, my name is Gideon. I'm from New Hampshire.
Tell me about your project here. What'd you make?
This is my senior project. I'm making a tool chest here. It's coming along. I'm currently still assembling it. I'll just show off a couple different things here. So I've got these drawers, and everything on the project is essentially solid cherry. And then my drawer fronts and my raised panel are going to be maple like this. So here I've got a rabbeted half blind dovetail that you can see, and then just normal half blind dovetails in the back.
Nice.
If you look at the edges of this project, like over here, these are all through dovetails, which I was able to make. And then
Beautiful.
just add a little bit more joinery. These vertical door boxes, they're gonna kind of come out like that.
Yeah, what are you putting there?
These are gonna have chisels, things like combo squares, stuff like that. And
They'll
they're
just
they're
hang
gonna
in
slide
there, huh?
about to there. This is with dados and rabbits.
Yeah, I
And
see.
then it's
Tell
gonna
me,
be
tell me about this.
Sort
This
of
is
a
beautiful.
hidden drawer. This is a pilaster molding I made. I've got one for each side.
Let me check out that over here.
They sort of, so the grain actually follows through all the way, and they're sort of to mimic what you would normally see outside of an entryway for a door, on either side as the moldings there, but a lot smaller and then in sort of more furniture style. And then my drawers here, I'm gonna get brass knobs for them to be able to pull out, and we're gonna get soft close hinges.
You got some plans up there.
And then here, just to kind of show, I'm gonna end up with a raised panel front, and that's going to essentially sit in here. You're gonna be able to lock it. It'll lock in these two side drawers and all these drawers. It'll unlock and store up here in this slot in the top.
That's
And
a
essentially the whole
beautiful
project.
That's a beautiful tool chest.
Thank you.
Gideon, thanks for sharing.
Appreciate it.
Hey, what's your name and where you're from?
My name is Nick Stamper. I'm from Ashton, Pennsylvania. This is my senior project here. It's a kitchen table. It's made out of cherry. The whole thing's made out of cherry. It was purchased from a local sawmill.
Tell me some of your details here that you got going on. This thing is
So,
beautiful.
A lot of the thought process of this table was done through hand tools, which is something I like to do. Not a lot of guys use the hand tools anymore, but throughout the process I was using like this bench plane, this spoke shape to do all the shaping around the tabletop, these bevels, the large bevel along the side here, all the bevels on the bottoms of the legs, these long bevels here on the uprights and the bottoms. I had a good opportunity to, since the top is curved, to bent laminate this skirt here, which is pretty much, you glue them together with just like a piece of plywood is, and you bend them around the form. The trim is steam bent. They're bent around the same form, left in the steamer for several hours, and put on there until it dries, and afterwards I put the profile on there. These guys are through tenons.
Let me get in here. I want to get a close up of that.
Yeah.
That came out nice. There you
Yeah,
go.
these are just through tenons wedged. So the whole thing's just put together with glue and wedges. These uprights are all connected together with Morses too. The whole table is finished with boiled linseed oil, just 3 coats of that, and then standing in between was steel wool.
This came out beautiful.
Thank you.
You got another
This
piece over
project
here.
This is a desk for my room. A big part of the culture in Carpentry Shop is doing things at nighttime.
Yeah.
When we don't have homework to do or projects to do in shop, we all come up and hang out and work on whatever we want to. This top is hickory. It was purchased from the same place that the cherry was. One feature is the epoxy river through the top here. On these knots and all these things. Wow, I wanted to because the piece of wood is so has so much character, and I kind of wanted to speak for itself. Left the epoxy dark. Another feature are these legs, which I made at home. For those, I just purchased several sticks of 3/4 mild steel, bent them around with a propane forge at my house. Did all these curves, all the tapers, and these guys at the bottom, bolted them together. So that's just another thing that we do here.
They look great, man. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, what's your name and where you from?
My name is Scotty Wiltshire. I'm from Cape May, New Jersey, and this is my senior project.
What'd you build here, Scott?
This is a show gun cabinet made out of spalted maple. The skeleton of the cabinet is a maple plywood. Everything else, all the hardwood is all spalted maple. The doors, everything is all cope and stick. All these doors, everything locks, unlocks. The barrel rests and the gun and the stock rests are all spalted maple with inlay of leather, brown leather, cut to fit. Everything locks functionally. This is my 30-inch deep drawer for ammunition. Everything on this is actually the only piece of cherry that is on my project. Everything's through dovetails on that. Soft close, drawer slides.
Nice little storage area down there.
Yep. These also lock, fully functional.
Just soft close too.
Everything soft close.
Where'd this wood come from? This is beautiful.
So about 4 months ago, a gentleman in media actually donated probably $500,000 worth of hardwood, from oak to spalted maple, all that stuff. Very, very generous. Yeah, very great.
And then you got glass going on all these panels at the end, right?
All the glass is here. I won't be putting the glass in until I bring it home.
You got a little remote in your hand. What's that gonna do?
That is lights for the inside. So fully lit. I can change colors.
Nice.
So I mean, it's pretty legit.
That's beautiful. That's a really nice job over there.
Thank you.
What do you got here?
So
Skills
this
USA.
is the Pennsylvania. I'm a Pennsylvania state champ for 2023 in cabinet making. So I'll be going to nationals in the end of June to compete nationally in cabinet making.
Beautiful. Scott, thanks for sharing. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Appreciate it.